Hey. Hey. What are you doing over here? What are you doing over here? What do you got in the tail now? Probably mice. You got mice in that tail? You never know what's in there. What's going on, boys? Back in the works. A little progress here. We got a little progress. It just marks up for now. But I had to do that in order to. I had some pieces I had to glue in on the inside, and I wanted to make sure that what happened with the C-130 and the sub don't happen to this. That you glue things into one side, and then when you go to put the other side in, nothing fits because it moved or whatever. But so. A little history. I got some history. If you're interested, hang around and listen. If not, move on. I'm going to talk about the planes, talk about the Doolittle Raid. Going to go over the bombers, who was in them, what happened to the crew. I got all this information off this website. www.doolittleraid.com. It's a website created by the son of the pilot of the 10th bomber. I have his name here. I got them all here, but not right now. He'll have to wait till we get to him. So, this raid was conducted a little over 6 months, 5-6 months after Pearl Harbor. This was really a morale booster, but I was led to believe that it was more a morale booster than anything. But from what I've been reading, these guys bombed everything that they went for. Pretty much of them, went over, dropped their bombs, and hit what they were after, and then got out of there. Some made it, some didn't. So we'll go over that now. All right. April 18th, 1942, 16 B-25 J. Mitchell bombers took off from the USS Hornet to bomb Tokyo, Japan. They left in 5-minute increments. So when the first plane left, the second one didn't leave until 5 minutes. So that meant that the last plane was 1 hour and 20 minutes away from the first plane. 5 times 16 is 80. 80 minutes. Hour and 20 minutes. So after the first couple of planes got there, the Japs knew that they were coming. And these guys didn't have, the only thing they had for protection was the top turret and a front gun, a 30 caliber machine gun up in the nose. That was it. Everything else didn't work because they took them out for weight. So, in the first plane number, now not all of them had names. Most of them they all had numbers. Only a few had names. So in the first plane number 402344 out of the 34th Squadron held the following guys. Pilot was Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle. Co-pilot was Lieutenant R.E. Cole. The navigator was Lieutenant H.A. Potter. The bombardier was Staff Sergeant F.A. Bramer. And the engineer gunner was Staff Sergeant P.J. Leonard. Now that bomber dropped 4 incendiaries on a factory in Tokyo at 12:30 p.m. Tokyo time. Where after it did that, it flew west and bailed out over China's mountains. All the crew were rescued by Chinese who were allies at the time, and all 5 made it back to the States. The second plane number 402292, also from the 37th Squadron, 17th Bomber Group, piloted by Lieutenant T. Hoover. The co-pilot was Lieutenant W.N. Fitzhugh. The navigator was Lieutenant C.L. Wildner. The bombardier was Lieutenant R.E. Miller. And the engineer gunnery was Staff Sergeant D.V. Rodney. Now, this plane followed the first plane and veered off to bomb targets at 2 factories and storehouses. After bombs away, they followed the other plane, Colonel Doolittle's plane, there to China, where they made a wheels-up crash landing in a rice paddy. All 5 made it home to the States. And you got to remember, once a lot of these guys went back to bombing over in Europe and in the Pacific, and some of them were killed later on in the war. So, all right. So the third plane, number 402270, name was Whiskey Pete. Piloted, that was out of the 95th Squadron, 17th Bomber Group. And that was piloted by Lieutenant R.M. Gray, co-pilot Lieutenant Jacob E. Manch. Navigator was Lieutenant C.J. Ozuk. Bombardier was Sergeant A.E. Jones, and the engineer gunner was Corporal L.D. Factor. He becomes the first casualty. What happens? They bomb an industrial area in Tokyo. Once they get done with that, they also head for China. And upon bailing out in the Chinese mountains, the Corporal Leland D. Factor, they landed at night. And I guess they were up walking around, and he fell off a cliff and died. The other 4 all made it, were safely found by the Chinese. And again, all 4 eventually make it home. And like I said, eventually make it home, that means back to, like I said, the war and other stuff. They did not go home and not fight again. And I think this is the last one we can get in. The 4th bomber, number 402282, 95th Squadron, 17th Bomber Group, piloted by Lieutenant E.W. Hastrom, co-pilot Lieutenant L.N. Youngblood, navigator Lieutenant H.C. McCook, bombardier Sergeant R.J. Stevens, and the engineer gunner was Corporal B.M. Jordan. As shortly after taking off, the turret gunner tells the pilot that the turret doesn't work, so now they have no turret. All they have is a 30 cal in the front. This becomes a problem once they get to Japan. The Japanese know that there's something up, so they got planes in the sky now. They get attacked by 4 Jap fighters. So the pilot, knowing that he's got no protection whatsoever, before he can get to where he goes, he dumps his bombs in Tokyo Bay. And then he gets out of that. They eventually make it to China, where they bail out and they're all saved. So there's our first bombers off the flight deck of the Hornet, boys. Like I said, if you want to know more, go to that website, Doolittle Raid, www.doolittleraders.com. Unbelievable story. And then Benny's got me on another one there, the Lady Be Good that crashed out in the desert. So I've been looking for that. But yeah, hopefully today to get some paint on this. I already got my tires done. So, all right, running out of time, guys. Peace out.